Did you know that 70% of people experience creative blocks at some point? That's right, almost 3 out of 4 of us hit a wall when trying to come up with new ideas. Creative blocks aren't just frustrating. They can feel like your brain is on vacation without telling you. Here's something even more surprising. Studies show that creative blocks can last up to 3 months if not addressed properly. That's a quarter of a year without new ideas. Imagine how much productivity and innovation are lost during that time. But don't worry. In this video, we're going to explore why these blocks happen and how you can kick them to the curb. We'll uncover the science behind why your brain sometimes hits a creative roadblock and share 8 unique strategies to overcome it. From breaking daily routines to embracing creative chaos, we've got practical tips that are easy to apply and sure to help you unleash your inner creativity. Stick around to learn how to turn those frustrating blocks into breakthroughs. Let's dive in and get your creativity flowing again. Chapter 1. The science behind stuck minds. Ever wonder why your brain just refuses to come up with something new? It's not just you. There's actually science behind it. According to a study by the University of Texas, decision fatigue plays a huge role. When you've made too many choices in a day, your brain starts to shut down creative thinking. Imagine your brain as a muscle. It gets tired too. Overthinking can also make things worse. The more you stress about coming up with a great idea, the harder it becomes to find one. But here's the good news. Knowing this can help you fix it. Start by simplifying decisions in your daily life. For instance, Steve Jobs famously wore the same outfit every day to reduce decision fatigue. While you don't need to go that far, cutting down on unnecessary choices can help your brain focus on creativity. Understanding that your brain sometimes needs a break from complex decisions can be the first step to getting unstuck. Chapter 2. Mindful disruption. Breaking patterns for fresh ideas. Our brains love patterns. We find comfort in routines and habits. But when it comes to creativity, these patterns can trap us. Think of your daily routine as a well-worn path in the woods. It's easy to walk, but it won't lead you anywhere new. That's where mindful disruption comes in. Mindful disruption is all about breaking those patterns on purpose. For example, if you always write at your desk, try writing in a park. Research from Stanford shows that walking boosts creative output by an average of 60%. Another way to disrupt your thinking is to try something totally new, like learning a musical instrument or doodling. These activities force your brain to think differently, opening up new pathways for ideas. Mindful disruption isn't just about changing your physical environment. It can also mean shifting your mental state. Studies suggest that simply thinking about a problem in a different language can help break creative blocks. The key is to shake things up in a way that's both intentional and playful. Chapter 3. The power of play. How to rediscover childlike creativity. Remember when you were a kid and could turn a stick into a sword or a spaceship? That's the power of play. Children are masters of creativity because they don't worry about being judged. They just create for the fun of it. As adults, we lose that sense of playfulness because we start to care too much about the outcome. But here's a secret. Play is just as important for adults. A study from the University of Cambridge found that adults who engage in play have more innovative ideas. So how can you bring more play into your life? Start by doing something creative with no end goal. Draw, paint, or write without worrying if it's good. Let yourself be silly. You can also try gamifying your creative process. Set up small challenges for yourself, like coming up with as many uses for a paperclip as possible in 5 minutes. The point is to have fun. When you're not focused on creating something perfect, you'll find that ideas flow more freely. Chapter 4. Creative cross-training. Borrowing inspiration from other fields. Ever notice how some of the most creative people are also the most curious? That's because creativity thrives on diversity of thought. Creative cross-training is all about drawing inspiration from outside your usual field. For example, did you know that the famous writer James Joyce was inspired by the structure of classical music when writing Ulysses? Or that Steve Jobs was deeply influenced by calligraphy when designing the first Macintosh? You don't have to be a genius to use this strategy. Just start exploring interests outside your usual scope. If you're a writer, study photography. If you're a painter, read about architecture. The goal is to let these new perspectives spark fresh ideas in your primary field. A study from the Journal of Applied Psychology found that employees who engaged in diverse activities outside of work were 23% more likely to come up with innovative solutions on the job. But don't stop there. Try combining 2 unrelated ideas. This technique, known as bisociation, is a powerful tool for breaking creative blocks. For instance, mixing a concept from mathematics with one from literature could lead to something entirely new. The more you cross-train your creativity, the easier it becomes to think outside the box. Chapter 5. Embrace the mess, finding order in creative chaos. Creativity isn't always neat and tidy. In fact, some of the most brilliant ideas come from chaos. Take Albert Einstein, for instance, who famously said, "If a cluttered desk is a sign of a cluttered mind, of what then is an empty desk a sign?" Embracing messiness can actually fuel creativity by allowing you to see connections you might otherwise miss. A study by the University of Minnesota found that people working in a messy environment were more likely to come up with creative solutions than those in a tidy one. So don't stress if your workspace looks a bit chaotic. It might just be the spark you need. Instead of trying to organize everything perfectly, let your thoughts flow freely. Jot down ideas as they come, even if they seem unrelated or incomplete. Another way to embrace the mess is through brainstorming. Write down every idea, no matter how wild or impractical. The goal is quantity, not quality. Once you've emptied your mind, you can start sorting through the mess to find the gems. Remember, creativity often happens when you let go of the need for everything to be perfect. Want to stay updated? Subscribe now and let's jump back into the content. Chapter 6. The Restorative Pause. How Strategic Rest Fuels Creativity. Rest isn't just about recharging your body, it's essential for your mind too. But not all rest is created equal. The key to fueling creativity is taking strategic pauses that truly restore your mental energy. According to a study published in the journal Cognitive Psychology, brief breaks can improve focus and creativity, especially when working on tasks that require deep thinking. One of the best ways to take a restorative pause is by spending time in nature. A walk in the park, or even just sitting under a tree can do wonders for your creativity. In fact, a study by Stanford University found that people who took a 90-minute walk in nature showed lower levels of negative thoughts and increased creativity compared to those who walked in an urban setting. Another effective technique is mindfulness meditation. Just a few minutes of focusing on your breath can help clear your mind and reset your creative thinking. Research from Harvard Medical School has shown that meditation can actually change the brain's structure, improving areas related to creativity and problem solving. So next time you hit a creative wall, don't push through it. Step back, take a break, and let your mind wander. Chapter 7. Outsourcing Creativity. Leveraging collaborations to spark innovation. Creativity doesn't have to be a solo endeavor. In fact, some of the most groundbreaking ideas come from collaboration. When you work with others, you get the benefit of different perspectives and ideas. As Steve Jobs once said, "Great things in business are never done by one person. They're done by a team of people." Collaboration can take many forms. It could be as simple as bouncing ideas off a friend or as complex as working on a project with a diverse team. Research from MIT shows that teams with a mix of different skill sets and backgrounds are more likely to come up with innovative solutions. The reason is simple. Each person brings a unique viewpoint, which helps to see the problem from different angles. But it's not just about working with others. It's about being open to their ideas. Listen actively, ask questions, and be willing to let go of your initial concept if someone else's idea is better. The magic of collaboration is that it often leads to unexpected breakthroughs, ones you might never have reached on your own. Chapter 8. Rituals of Reinvention. Creating a daily practice to stay inspired. The final strategy is all about consistency. Creativity isn't just a talent, it's a habit. By establishing daily rituals, you can train your brain to stay in a creative mindset. James Clear, in his book Atomic Habits, emphasizes the importance of small, consistent actions. He argues that by building tiny habits, you can make creativity a natural part of your daily life. One effective ritual is journaling. Start each day by writing down your thoughts, ideas, and even your worries. This process, often called morning pages, was popularized by Julia Cameron in her book The Artist's Way. It helps clear mental clutter and opens the door to new ideas. Don't worry about what you write. The goal is to get your thoughts flowing. Another ritual is setting aside a specific time each day for creative work. No matter how busy you are, even 15 minutes can make a difference. Consistency is key. Over time, this ritual becomes a signal to your brain that it's time to be creative. And the more you practice, the easier it gets to access that creative state. Lastly, surround yourself with inspiration. Whether it's art, music, books, or nature, make sure your environment stimulates your imagination. Creativity feeds on inspiration, so make it a point to immerse yourself in it daily. As the famous saying goes, inspiration exists, but it has to find you working. Like what you saw? Subscribe and stay connected with all our latest videos.